All right, everybody, I'm back. I am back from Nashville. We had an absolute wonderful time, and I couldn't wait to get back. I was actually so excited. As soon as we came in, I carried all the luggage in. I came straight to the computer, asked the wife, I said, please, babe, I got to get in here. I got to make this video. I got to see these charts. I had an amazing time, but I also was super excited. Like Palantir got into the S&P. Uh, futures were looking really nice this morning. As soon as we got in the car, I took those trades that I put in off topic for you guys immediately. I got into weekly Palantir. Those closed out at almost 200% this afternoon. I took two SPX trades that did really well. I did not get filled on the Friday DTE that I wanted to do, but that's okay. I'm going to talk about some stuff that we always talk about. We're going to go through and we're going to start this week off. It is Monday afternoon. That's kind of weird. I apologize, but I did not bring a computer. I did not want to work. And so I'm doing my BMA, I think probably for the first time on a Monday night. So it's a little weird because I like to show projections and show you what's going to happen by using supply and demand. But that's okay. We can still do that. We'll just pretend, we'll just pretend today is Sunday. Um, yeah, everything's going to be all right. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to turn off my video because I just realized my camera was on. So I'm going to turn that off and we'll get started right here. All right, cool. Let's get started. So, this week's major U.S. economic report and Fed speakers, we're going to be talking about the 9th into the 13th. A couple things here. Remember, any catalyst that happens that I'm talking about here is just a catalyst that pushes price into supply and demand. For example, before I left and went to Nashville, we had this demand zone right here on the ES futures. We did come into that area and you could see it moved up very, very nicely. Those are the kind of things that we're looking for. All right. So we're spotting where institutions are buying and selling, and we're trying our best to line up with the big money and not get sucked into thinking or doing things like most retail traders. Retail traders, that's you and I. There's no reason why we cannot increase our probabilities to be better traders by learning where these folks are buying and selling. Okay, so let's get started with a little bit of information here. Again, it is now Monday night, so we've already got through consumer credit and so forth. Tomorrow, pretty quiet on NFIB optimism index. Wednesday, consumer price index, so we're looking at CPI. Thursday, big news, PPI, and then moving on down here to Friday the 13th, you got to see consumer sentiment once again. So overall, you know, I think we have an opportunity here to continue to move up, but I'll talk about my overall sentiment as we get towards the end here. The next thing that we're going to be looking at and is earnings. So if we take a look over here, let's go into notifications. Go right here. Let's go into earnings. All right. And of course, everybody knows this. I use Earning Whispers at eWhispers. So if you guys want to check them out, really great information. And I can always rely on them. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So, all right, let's take a look here. What is on the list for this week that I'm interested in? I already took some Oracle and Ashley's account. That's my wife, in case you guys didn't know. Other than that, not really interested in any of these names. And then we come into Tuesday, GameStop, of course. Yes, I have GameStop in my Robinhood account, believe it or not. I mean, I figured I would open up an account there a couple months ago. I did so. They make it really easy, so I was able to buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I also have stocks and I trade some options over there just for fun, and that counts up. It's nice. It's a smaller account, but it's up this year, so things look good. All right. Anyways, GameStop's on there. Dave and Buster's, Petco. Definitely want to see how Petco's doing. Don't really care too much about the earnings on Dave and Buster's, but just something from the past. On Wednesday, yeah, so I'm interested in Vera Bradley. Definitely, I think that this line, if you don't know anything about it, check it out. Do some research on it. But in day and age with a lot of people on social media and stuff, I think a lot of these brands and stuff are popular. So just take a look there. On Thursday, Adobe, Big Lots. Restoration Hardware. Definitely want to see how these guys are doing. I have not been following that stock for many, many, many months. I just think that it's overrated, a little expensive, and it just doesn't make sense in these hard times for a lot of folks. So, but I would like to open up the chart and just see technically what it looks like. So I'll be looking at that. Let's go ahead and move on. Next thing I'm going to be looking at is Trading View. We want to look at it from a quarterly perspective. So every one of these candles on here represent a quarter. You could see, and I like to cover this over and over, so I beat it into everyone's head that this cloud is absolutely amazing, and if price ever come back to this cloud during 2024, if it happens, I feel like that's a lucky opportunity. If it comes back to that level, I want to get long, super long, and I'll be buying out of the money calls and stuff with time. That's in the case in the event that something really bad were to happen this year. That would be a pretty big pullback. It'd be around 475 all the way down to like 420 to get us into this demand zone that we have here. Now, going off of last week, my notes were new month, 28 days. I was super excited, right? Things were looking good. 28 days until the quarter candle closes. 559 remains the over under line in the sand for the week. I believe probabilities are in our favor for an all time high this week. I was pumped up. We were over the 88.7, but I also was super cautious. So my sentiment was cautious, but I was also bullish. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later on as well. Uh, my short-term support was 559, which was that line in the sand. Okay, this week, once price broke below that 559, it stayed below. And even though last week was down, overall, it looks to have been a potential opportunity. I mean, based off of today. If we go below 544, opens a bearish thesis for this week. So that's kind of my over-under going into this week. And above 551, better for the bulls. Support is 528. Resistance is 551. So notice that I said above 551 is better for bulls, but I say right here it's resistance. So just understand that price for me has to break up through that resistance, come back and back check it, and then make a higher high off of that for me to feel better that the bulls are actually going to maintain and sustain that price that I'm talking about of 551. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. We'll go into the Qs. I said last week that the Qs were lagging. I meant it, and you could see it was pretty terrible. New month last week as well. The quarter candle closes. Not much strength this past week as price closed lower than the previous week's high. This past week was an inside candle. I was talking about, this guy right here. Bulls need 480 and bears need below 473. Overall price held the golden Fibonacci. Well, it didn't hold the golden Fibonacci. It actually broke down below that. And bears needed less than 473. Well, they definitely got it. Here we are sitting at 454. This week, price broke below the 618 and retraced to the weekly inside and up formation. So you're not going to see that here, but it is on our QQQ chart. And we came into that. We found buyers. And I'll show you that a little bit later on the NASDAQ futures towards the end of this video. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, please give me a like and share this video with folks. This one's going to be, pretty quick, but they all are, I feel like, 20 to 30 minutes long. You can increase the speed on YouTube and listen to me a little bit faster. These are really, really important for me to be able to coach our team, hundreds of people here at Simpler Trading, to put you on the right track for this week. Very important. So please make sure you watch this. And if you have any questions, let me know. But again, please don't forget to like it and share with your friends. So our resistance is 460 by 62, and our supply zone is at 470. So if we get lucky and things start to really push to the upside, be careful around these major levels. If we just blow through 462, which I don't necessarily see the catalyst for, but you never know. CPI, PPI could do that. And again, price is king. So it doesn't matter what I say. Supply is at 470. I would not expect price to get over 470 this week. In the back of my head, I'm saying, please get over 470. And then support is at 451. And the 200 SMA is at 442. So just in case we come off of that 454, and indeed this was just an opportunity for bears to kind of stack up on the put side, then I would be looking at buyers to come in around 442 to 444. All right, so that is the QQQ. The next thing I want to be looking at is the dollar. Not a whole lot to talk about here. We don't want to look at this on the quarterly for the moment. We'll go to a smaller time frame. The levels did not and will not change for this week. We'll go to a weekly. We came into demand. I said, hey, look, we might get a bounce from demand. We got a little bit of a bounce, but again, the major levels resistance is 102.9 by 104.34, and we're currently in demand and bouncing. Not much of a threat unless we get above the 618, which is 104.34. Okay, so again, unless we get above there, not really concerned about the bounce at the moment in the dollar. Why do we care about the dollar? Usually, when the dollar is bidding up or making higher highs and higher lows, you want to be careful because the overall market tends to pull back during that time. Let's go ahead and move on to the TNX. All right, and all this stuff that I'm telling you, I come to a sentiment at the end, okay? So sentiment here, or the TNX, we're rolling over. We got what's called a H formation or hopium. In this case, it's okay. I like that it's rolling over. I like that it's going sideways. It is in an inside and up formation, so we could see a bounce here. But so far, it actually looks like the 10-year treasury is going to roll to the downside and potentially see 3.4. That was my target. All right, let's go ahead and get to the skew. The skew is very, very important to me. I always feel like I'm on repeat here because I say this almost every single week, but the skew is so damn important. Last week we talked about it. All right, and if we come over here, you guys will see if I bring this down. All right, so the skew. See why the skew can help. Last week was a huge warning, and I talked about that. Now it's settled down a tad, but I personally would like a tad bit more fear to come into the market. But 10 points is down is also a great place to see that bounce. And guess what? We got that bounce today. All right, so it is a relief rally as of right now. So let me sum it up in these pictures. This was the skew. It came into this area, and I have these written and annotated words here that you can just copy down on a skew chart and use these because they work really well. When you're up here, you want to be buying puts anywhere from 30 to 90 days out. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just a chart that helps me understand. Basically, you have extreme greed coming in when you see the skew up here. Everybody's long on the call side, and you're looking for them to pull the rug. Basically, is what it comes down to. Okay, so guess what? They did that, and if we come down here, you're going to see they pull the rug. Boom, comes right back down, but it comes down right into a cloud. And the things that we use on trading equities, options, futures, you're going to use that even with the skew cloud itself. So at this moment, the skew came down, it found the cloud, which is an area where it can bounce. So just know that. So when it bounces, that tells me more greed could come into the market and we could come right back up here. It gets super greedy, and then we get that big flush again. If for some reason I'm wrong and we break through this first red line, let fear come back into the market, look to get short, and then once we get down here to this level, which is 133, I know you guys can't see it, but 134, 133 area here, this is where I want to be buying calls short term, 5 to 10 days out. Okay, so that's what we got there. Fear and greed index, we dropped quite a bit into fear. It was at greed, so yay, we scared some people. Congratulations. Are you scared? I hope not. I hope that you're able to buy the dip a little bit and add into some long-term trades. I love trading futures, swings, short-term stuff. We got Melissa here, who likes to dabble in some short-term stuff as well as some swings. And so we really have a great amount of not only trades and alerts here, but some great education on how to make you feel better in taking, whether it's a long-term trade, leaps, swings, or if you just want to take something for 30 minutes to a couple hours. All right. So again, I hope to see you guys soon. ES Futures, my overall sentiment after last week, it is natural to be fearful and feel an overwhelming sense of uncertainty. However, there's only one certainty. You can always lose money in trading. I know you guys know that, but there's every once in a while there are a couple people who don't, and I have to reiterate this. You can control your risk though, and that's the beautiful thing about trading, guys, is that nothing really has to be that scary. You just got to put some, good levels together, and yeah, and you put those levels together, and you know, you learn that allocation is really the big thing that really scares a lot of traders. And if we can get rid of or teach you how to find an allocation that suits your personality and allows you to trade the process, not the percentage, right? A lot of people like focus on percentage. Um, we dig deep into that. We talk about that type of stuff, and then we show you an amazing process that can help you trade. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the ES futures. You guys will see here 5486. This is the weekly, and again, my sentiment is always bullish for the last several years, especially when we're coming into demand zones. However, I am cautious right now because price is under the clouds. It's in the cloud. It's in a bearish channel. What does that mean? It means I keep buying the dip, but I try not to overstay my welcome. And I take profits as they're given to me. Now, I know that sounds funny because we could apply that to every single day, but what I mean is like really laying on the gas versus, hey, you know, I'm not in hopium stage here, and not that we should be in hopium when we're trending, but there is a lot more conviction, I should say, to holding your trades when things are really rallying to the upside. Like for example, we're above the cloud here. Like I feel good about stuff like that. When we pull back into demand, I actually feel good here. We get back above the cloud, I feel great. We get a buy signal, I feel great. We get a buy signal, I feel great. Oh no, we get a turn signal. We come down into demand, and all these levels were here this year for you before price got there. So that's pretty amazing. And this is what I have to say for today again. I am bullish, but I have some caution until we can get above certain levels, folks. And those levels, your key levels for this week in the ES futures. One, if you look closely here, we are on a weekly. We are in the cloud. This is the cloud right here. We are not above the 9 EMA, so I have some caution. We need to get above that. But we are building overhead supply, so we're really going to need, the bulls to show up, or you need some kind of left field catalyst that you weren't expecting. Let's say like CPI or PPI to get you through these things. As of right now, the best way that I can coach this type of, um, I guess, technical analysis looking at in the cloud, and we just got like an inside day so far, is that we are sideways to down until proven otherwise. And when I say that, please understand we come in here and we have our PMZ, our pre-market zone, that's very, very popular. It's an indicator. I'm able to get long by using that and understanding that we're at a level where I'd expect the market to move up. So, for example, let me go ahead and zoom in for you. So this is a trendy edge, and this was here before this price got there last week. We understand when price drops into that, we are looking to go long. Boom, check mark. Is it scary to buy it? Yes, of course it is. Does it have to be scary? No, it does not. We look to go long, things start to work out for us. And today, as things are going up, you're looking at trimming. Just like I started trimming my Tesla that I bought into last week, and it paid off. It worked. Okay. Now, understand we got to get above this cloud. And when I say there's overhead resistance and then we have overhead supply, again, that catalyst is going to have to move us out of there. These are the major levels. If you want to pause this and come back, put these on your screen. I'll talk about them more in the room, give you a little bit more context behind them. But basically, they're like Fibonacci's. All right, certain Fibonacci levels, other ranges that kind of help me say, hey, things are still bullish or they're not so bullish. All right. Going into the daily, this is where we have our triggers. These are going to be your trigger longs for this week, both of these. And then this is going to be your resistance coming in at around these top and wicks in here and close to the this mid edge, if you will, at 52.26. And then I have a short trigger, and the short trigger, real quick, we teach you how to take these triggers. We don't just trade them blindly. We look at several different things when price gets there. So just please understand that this is not any sort of, hey, you got to go short here, you got to go long here. There are things that have to line up. Okay. Other than that, we do have overhead supply up here as well around the short trigger, so just please understand that. But really, even with last week's pullback, we're so close to the all-time high. Now, just because we're close to it doesn't mean that we're gonna get there. Last week, I really thought that we had a high probability of getting there. Now, if you look, if I do the pivot to pivot, and I anchor my coefficients there, we are now below the 618. So yeah, we kind of need to get over 5,500. and 5504 is my next key level. And then, of course, if we get up towards 5562, we'll look to get short. But we're underneath the 618, man, and you know that all that simply means is that once we get back above there, things start looking a lot more bullish. Okay. All right, let's move over to the 4 hour. So this is a 2 hour zone. Please mark it down 54.29 by 53.86. This is where I expect buyers to show up. If they don't, then we head back down to the levels I talked about a little bit earlier. And again, I go over this every single morning. Usually we get to trade the micros or the futures every single morning. So they're always on my chart, ready to trade with our triggers and so forth. Okay. But these are the chart or these are the zones that I have. Of course, if you want the levels to the upside here, just look for the inside and down formations on a lower time frame. I want to keep this open. I would like to think that we can hold in here and that we're headed back to here. Okay, this week. Okay, so again, CPI, PPI are going to lead us there, or if they're not, then we're going to break down below this 2 hour zone and we'll probably head back down to here. Okay. All right, so moving on, let's go to the NASDAQ, take a quick look there. Again, my overall sentiment is exactly the same way as it was for the ES futures. I'm bullish. Especially, I'm actually feel a little bit better on the Nasdaq this week. I did not last week, but we had this gray box. This was a inside and up formation. All we did was come right back to it. We found buyers, and you guys could see it was a nice inside. You know, it says inside week, but it's only Monday. We have several days left. It was an inside day. We are in the cloud. That's the outside of the cloud. So anytime we're in the cloud, I'm cautious. All right, but prices could and can move up towards 18,968 to 19,425. Now, this was last week. This would have said support. Well, what was support is now potentially resistance. Now, okay. Again, same thing. Overhead supply up here towards 19,750 to 20,314. Just building lower highs and so far higher lows at the moment. Nice sideways trend for a very long period of time so far. Moving on, these are your triggers, just like on the ES. Please pause this, write these down. If you want to learn more about them, come hang out in the room. I know that a lot of our viewers are already members, and so again, we could talk about this in the room. But if you're not a member, it's $7 to come and check us out for a trial. Okay, we are above the 200 SMA. That's a simple moving average. This is a free indicator you can throw on your chart. It's a great tool to have. A lot of technical analysis. You know, traders use it. But again, I love supply and demand. This is probably one of the only things you see on my chart, plus a little bit of the EMAs that are pretty typical, if you will. All right. Um, yeah, so resistance, trigger longs. You'll notice here I have three trigger longs. These are three areas where I really think buyers can show up. So far today they did, you know, from this area, which was the trendy edge. So that did work. Moving on to the 4 hour, this is the same zones that we had last week. We came into demand. We are trying to get out of demand. One of the big things that I want to talk about really fast before I end this video is for you to understand that I'm going to take you to a whiteboard. One of my favorite things is when the 4 hour starts to get above the cloud. Okay, so if you're using an EMA cloud and it's on your chart, you'll notice that most of you, if you have clouds, your cloud's probably like red. Okay, and price is either underneath it and it's resistance until proven otherwise, or it's inside. And this top area here is resistance. What we need to see is that once we get a breakthrough, and I love it on the 4 hour, man. If we can get above it on the 4 hour, I don't want you to get too excited. I want you to think, okay, it has to get above first. And then I like to see checkbacks. So it would come back and check back on this. Let me go ahead and show you. So it breaks through, momentum changes, people get super excited, and then they pull the rug on you. Come back to the cloud and maybe even, you know, kind of dig in a little bit deeper, and then it comes right back above and holds it. And what happens are these start to come up, these will cross, okay, and then this will cross, and then later you'll start to see a different color cloud, and then now we have that support of the 4 hour. And you can see when that happens, okay, boom, come back, we're holding, we can trend for a very long period of time. Now, since we broke down below this cloud, it's been resistance until proven otherwise. And it's gonna feel exciting. Like if we open up tomorrow morning and we're up here towards the top of the clouds, whether it's on ES, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, RTY, Apple, Amazon, it doesn't matter. You're gonna feel excited. Please remember what I'm saying. It needs to get through, it needs to come back and check. We need to see a base above there. Then I start feeling a little bit more excited about the trend. All right. So for right now, my overall sentiment bullish because we came into some demand, but super cautious because there's a lot of overhead supply. There's EMAs on top of us. We just have a lot against us at the moment. If you're a bull, and don't forget, I also have bearish trade on. I have my 2025 SPY puts that I started buying a couple weeks ago. We sold some of those for about 60% on Friday. And if I get more of a bounce play, I'll be adding back into those. So stay tuned for those. And then let's talk about Bitcoin really quick, right? Bitcoin, I love tracking all of this stuff. I actually have some of this in my Robinhood account. And I'll trade Bitcoin futures here in this account at times as well. This is really cool. I'm going to bring this down, and you guys are going to see here in three charts, if you will. Just it. Come on down. All right, so Bitcoin, this kind of sums it up in three pictures. So this was original. I said, hey guys, I'm getting bullish here, but we have supply, and my overall sentiment is we stay bullish as long as the green level holds. That is a demand zone. So I show you how to find supply and demand. We come up, we smack supply. I can't make this stuff up. Prices fall, and this past week, price came into demand, and now we get that really big move that we saw today, 3,000 points up. Now, big picture, of course, we're making lower highs, and higher lows. So a sideways trend, kind of like the rest of the market. But you still, you want to be sort of not too precise, but you want to have levels like this to kind of help you day trade and make some good moves and those type of things. So, anyways, hope you guys are loving the levels. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. That concludes the broad market analysis. I will be coming out with the neutral strategy just a little bit later tonight. And again, I am late because I went to Nashville to go celebrate Ashley's grandfather's birthday. It was a blast, but I'm happy to be back, and we'll get some more videos out to you guys a little bit later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.